the book that you mentioned, Ancient Light, that particular book was really the spinoff of a larger book that you mentioned called the Origins, the Lives and Worlds of Modern Cosmologists. And that book had an introduction which surveyed the field of cosmology, which is the subject of how the universe came into being and its structure and evolution as a whole. That's cosmology. And there are very, very interesting questions about that border on philosophical and even theological issues. And so I wanted to make the introduction to that book as clear as I could. And then I decided to spin it off as a separate book on its own, which is Ancient Light, and tell some of the personal stories of the particular scientists that are involved. I think one of the ways that you convey science is to tell the personal stories of the scientists. So we see scientists as human beings and not just as robots. The word transcendent comes from those as a label for those experiences that we have where we feel like we are beyond ourselves, where we are merging with something larger than ourselves, which happens in most forms of spirituality. So that's why I titled the book The Transcendent Brain, that the transcendent part stands for our spiritual experiences, and the brain stands for our rationality and our scientific view of the world. I've been interested for a long time in the reconciliation of religion and science. And I think religion and science are the two most powerful forces that have shaped our culture for thousands of years. And so I wanted to write a book in which I showed that, and for religion, I'm not talking about organized religion, but I'm talking about personal religion, the personal spiritual experiences that we have. And I wanted to show how those experiences are completely compatible with the scientific view of the world. The way that I reconcile spiritual experiences with science is that I show that many of the experiences that we have that we associate with spirituality, like feeling of connection to things larger than ourselves or the appreciation of beauty, that they had survival benefit in our evolutionary history. And so I show them to be consequences of an intelligent brain plus Darwinian natural selection. Well, actually, my most recent release is called The Miraculous from the Material. I like to find new ways of exploring the theme, and that's where the creative part comes for me. And The Miraculous from the Material, I was running one morning on around a field. I'm a jogger, and it was early in the morning, maybe 7 a.m. It was cool, and there was a low mist hanging over this field. It was absolutely gorgeous, and I began wondering what causes the mist, and why does it hang low over the field and then dissipate during the day? And so I began thinking of that, and then it occurred to me that it would be an interesting book to look at lots of visually extraordinary phenomena like spider webs, the rings of Saturn, lightning, volcanoes, elaborately colored fish, bioluminescence, and have a full-page color photograph of the phenomena, and then an essay that explained the science behind it. And for me, understanding the science behind a phenomenon does not diminish my awe and admiration of the phenomena, it enhances it. And also each chapter gives my personal experience with the phenomenon.
Did you have one or two that really, as you wrote about them, really most profoundly, blew your hair back, so to speak?
Well, I learned a lot in all of these. So that was really interesting. For spider webs, for example, I learned that the silk of a spider web has twice the strength of a strand of steel of the same diameter. And I learned that the silk threads of a spider web are not totally passive, but they can leap out from the web and capture an insect due to electrical attraction. So those are things that I didn't know about spider webs at all. And so there were a bunch of things like that I learned along the way of researching the book. And of course, the phenomena themselves are visually stunning. So I love either seeing the phenomena in person or seeing beautiful pictures of them. And I think that that's a terrible loss. And I have been able to, through both my own determination and through good fortune and the encouragement of certain people, I've been able to explore both of those interests and maintain them. And when young people with those dual interests come to me and ask for advice, I tell them, don't cut off either part of yourself. Both of those interests are part of who you are. And so I think that one of my contributions, such as it is, has been to encourage young people, especially, to keep their full selves intact. I'm also very gratified by the work that I've done in Cambodia and Southeast Asia in helping young women with leadership and critical thinking. So those are the two things that I feel most good about.